Well, let's begin this video with just by a little bit of creative imagination, but you don't have to imagine much because this is actually based on a true story. But let's imagine that you are a young woman. You are gainfully employed, even though you don't earn much. You're working at a Holiday Inn, trying to earn enough money to pay your way through medical school so you can become a medical assistant. You have a bright future. You're engaged to be married, and you're going to be a productive individual, and you're going to contribute to society. But you are strapped for cash, and when you go shopping, typically where you go is, like everybody else, you go to Walmart. Thank goodness for Walmart sometimes. So you go to Walmart, you buy your stuff, you go out, get in your car, and you're getting ready to leave the parking lot, and while you're sitting there in your car, a black woman comes up, points a gun in your head, and executes you. What? That's the end of the story. I mean, you're dead. End of story. No more college, no medical career, no marriage. It's over. Again, we don't have to imagine much because that is actually based on fact. Let's click on this story, and while we're doing this, let me remind you that if this had been a white-on-black homicide, the media would never shut up about it. It would be going on and on incessantly forever. Evidence that white racism is epidemic in the United States, and it always will be, and it always has been. But because it's black on white, that doesn't fit the cultural Marxism paradigm, and so they just ignore it. Here's what the story says. 25-year-old medical student was effectively executed outside Walmart in Ashland, Virginia. Ashley Frick was gainfully employed at a nearby Holiday Inn while she worked on a degree as a medical assistant. She was engaged to be married. Friends said the victim had a bright future ahead of her, and that future was simply erased, edited out of the world picture with a twitch of a trigger finger. Arrested for the senseless murder is 24-year-old Brittany L. Wiggins, who is innocent until proven guilty. Wiggins is black. The victim is white. But it says there was no motive for the crime. No motive given for the crime. Obviously, there was a motive. We just don't know what it is. Let me guess. And I don't know. So I'm going to venture a guess because I don't know either one of these people and I don't know the circumstances. So I'm just kind of speculating. And I got to say that as a disclaimer so that you know this is not based on fact. But what I'm assuming is this. You have a black woman who has an IQ probably south of 85, maybe 80, somewhere around that range, and you have a white girl who has an IQ north of 100. People who have low IQs have difficulty comprehending the consequences of their actions. They don't think that far in advance. So I'm thinking what may have happened is this young black woman may have been offended. Who knows why? Maybe she thinks this white girl's pushed in line. Maybe she just doesn't like white people, maybe at the sight of white people. Well, a lot of black people do this. You see a white person, you have been mentally conditioned to dress them mentally in Klan robes. So you see every white person as a racist. In fact, you are saturated in racism. Mentally, you see you are the victim of racism constantly. Never mind the fact that black people living in America have the highest standard of living of any black population anywhere on earth ever. Never in history have black people been so advanced technologically, so blessed technologically as they are right this very moment in this country. But that doesn't occur to them. Why? Because, well, it does occur to many of them, but many of them, most it doesn't because, quite frankly, they're not the brightest people on earth. Oh, you can't say that. Oh, can't say, geez, that's politically incorrect. I stepped outside the paradigm. You know, there's this narrow little boundary of make-believe that the cultural Marxist has set up for us, and if you get outside that, they call you racist. No, I'm not a racist. I hate racism. I think disliking somebody for any unchangeable characteristic is not only immoral, just outright stupid. So I'm actually anti-racist, but there's one thing that I think is also immoral and idiotic, and that is denying reality. And this is reality. Let's go over to this map. We look at this map frequently. We looked at it in a previous video today, as a matter of fact. Okay, what are we looking at here? Well, these blue areas are population or geographies on the planet that are populated by people who have average IQs of around 100. The yellow areas is what I call the dumb belt. Those are people who, or the yellow belt, those are people who have IQs south of 85. Average. Some of them are extraordinarily intelligent, but for every extraordinarily intelligent person, there's another person who's extraordinarily stupid to make the average what it is, an average. Sub-Saharan Africa, average IQ 70, south of 70, some areas south of 65. For example, we know that in Ethiopia, the average IQ is below 70. 70 is the threshold for mental retardation, according to psychologists. In fact, let's scroll down here and let's take a look. Average IQ in Angola is 68, in Niger it's 69, Ethiopia it's 69. In Somalia, the average IQ is 68. So what that means is Swaziland 68, Haiti 67, Lesotho 67, Liberia 67 if it's on the screen, so forth and so on. Okay, so in these countries south of 70, all these countries, the average population, the population by average is retarded. So let me ask you this question. If you take a group of people from sub-Saharan Africa and you move them across the Atlantic to North America, how does that affect their IQ? The answer is it doesn't. It doesn't change it one bit. Okay, well, what if you integrate the schools? Well, then the average IQ shifts because everybody's mixed into the average. But the average IQ of white people is still around 100, and the average IQ of black people, if they are Africans, is still around 70. The average IQ of black Americans is around 85 because most black Americans have white ancestry. Okay? So if you take people from here and you put them here, it does not affect their IQ. You do not erase 50,000 years of genetic programming simply by taking people and moving them across the Atlantic Ocean or moving them into your classroom. It doesn't work that way. Their children, their IQ does not increase by virtue of the fact that they're surrounded by white people. Their grandchildren, their intelligence does not increase by virtue of the fact that they're surrounded by white people. It is a genetic predisposition. Okay, so when you take a black person from sub-Saharan Africa and you move them into a white country, their IQs do not go up. They still behave like they have low IQs because they have low IQs. Is that politically incorrect? Yeah, it is. But is it honest? Yes, it is. I'm not trying to be politically correct. I know people will falsely accuse me of being racism. I'm anti-racist. I hate racism. I think it's stupid, but I also think denying reality is stupid. And we have white people being slaughtered, massacred in this country, and the media is ignoring it, and this is one example. The story, by the way, was reported at the source article, which you can find at this link here, February 19th, 2017. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like us telling the truth, I should say, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share this on social media. Remember, there's a little red button in the lower right-hand corner that says subscribe. That is there for your convenience to subscribe to this YouTube channel because we're doing what even conservative websites, conservative YouTube channels, conservative news venues will not touch. They are terrified of getting outside that narrow band of where we're allowed to think and talk. We think outside the box because outside the box is where truth is. Outside the box is where reality is. We do not let the far left tell us how to think. We think what is true and what is honest. Whatever things are true, whatever things are honest, whatever things are pure, think on these things. So that's what we do, and that's what we talk about. So if you were in agreement with that, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe then to our YouTube channel and be a part of that. Also, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below because we'd like to know what you have to think, what you have to say.
How to subscribe. Click subscribe. Click the bell. Check the box. Save.